Step 2. Compute the denominator, the inner product of phi with psi. The inner product of the state phi with the state psi is equal to 1/2 times the sum of the first component of phi multiplied by the first component of psi, plus the second component of phi multiplied by the second component of psi. Here, the second component of phi is complex, so we take its complex conjugate before multiplying. Evaluating the sum gives 1 minus I, and multiplying by 1/2 gives 1/2 times 1 minus I. Step 3. Compute the weak value. The weak value, AU of the operator. A is calculated by dividing the matrix element of A between the states phi and psi by the inner product of phi and psi. In other words, first, compute the inner product of phi with A acting on psi, which gives 1/2 times 1 plus I. Then, compute the inner product of phi with psi, which gives 1/2 times 1 minus I. Finally, divide the first result by the second. The factors of 1/2 cancel, leaving the quotient of 1 plus I divided by 1 minus I. Multiply numerator and denominator by the complex conjugate of the denominator. The weak value. AW is the ratio of the matrix element of A between phi and psi to the inner product of phi and psi. First, we write the ratio as 1 plus I divided by 1 minus I. To simplify, we multiply top and bottom by the complex conjugate of the denominator, which is 1 plus I. Expanding the numerator gives 2I and the denominator gives 2. Dividing these gives the final weak value, AW equals I. Final result. The weak value AW equals I, the imaginary unit. This weak value is purely imaginary, which means it has no real part. It is a type of unusual or anomalous result, because it cannot appear as a normal measurement outcome of the operator sigma z. The operator sigma z only has two possible eigenvalues, which are +1 and -1. Interpretation. The real part of AW shifts the pointer's position in a weak measurement. The imaginary part, here the entire result, shifts the pointer's momentum. Such complex values arise only when pre- and post-selection are not orthogonal but nearly incompatible.